Welcome to Susie's Monday Kitchen. Let's see how quickly I can get some usable shellac. The recipe I'm preparing today is a 2-pound cut of blonde shellac. And to speed things up, hopefully considerably quicker, I'm going to use a coffee grinder. Now normally I would measure out the flakes into the jar and add the alcohol, but I don't want the flakes to clump down at the bottom and form like a gel. I want to keep everything moving, and I'm going to have to keep shaking this, and I'm hoping it's going to go a lot quicker, and in fact will dissolve almost, probably not instantly, but the fastest I've managed this just shaking the jar without grinding them is 2 hours. 2.5 hours for these. These dissolve a lot slower than these. But I'm hoping if I can grind these up to a very fine powder and keep the mixture moving, I think it should dissolve pretty quickly. I'm hoping to use this today and not have to wait overnight. That's the plan. Now if you're working by volume, it's 4:1. This is a 2-pound cut, which means it's 2 pounds dissolved in a gallon, 8 pints of alcohol. In metric, it's 250 grams in 1 litre of alcohol, so that's 4:1. But 1 litre of alcohol weighs 780 grams. Its specific gravity is 0.78. So roughly speaking, if you're working by weight, the proportions are 3:1. So by weight it would be 250 grams of flakes to 750 grams of alcohol. I'm going to mix a much smaller quantity. I'm going to use 15 grams of flake to 48 grams, sorry, 15 grams of flake to 45 grams of alcohol. But because of these scales measured to the nearest 2 grams, I usually go 16 grams of flake to 48 grams of alcohol. Confused? You will be. So first of all, I'm going to measure out the alcohol. And that's going to be 48 grams. There we go. Oh, 50, whatever. That'll do. And we'll just put that aside for a moment. I like to keep everything capped so that the alcohol doesn't absorb any moisture, which it tends to have a habit of doing. I'm going to measure the flakes straight into the grinder. I'm just going to take a note of how heavy the grinder is. 616 grams. Now the reason I'm doing that is I'm just a bit concerned that the flakes might all clag together. That is a word, clag. And I might not be able to get them all out. I'm hoping it'll just come out very clean, but just this is a slight check. 616 grams. I will now zero it and measure in my flake, and then hopefully I can get every bit of flake out and it'll be 616 at the end. So I want 16 grams of flake. Oh dear. Yeah. Cut. So there we have 16 grams. Let's see how this goes. No, still a few flakes in there. Well, there are still some flakes in there. There we go. That's a sort of, is that a caster sugar consistency? Hopefully it's not. Oh, that's okay. Don't want to introduce any moisture off my fingers. So, we simply empty this lot and hopefully don't spill any. Yeah, there is some powder clinging to the inside of the grinder. So I wonder how much I've lost. Need to get this shaking, otherwise it's going to clump. And it was already clumping. In fact, let's start that and see how long it takes to get it completely dissolved. And the jar's leaking. Oh, isn't that useful? Usually jam jars are pretty good. They're fairly alcohol tight, but this one I'm going to get shellac all over my hands because the alcohol is going to dissolve it. Right, I need to stand here agitating. I'm just going to put that aside briefly because I'm curious to see how much the grinder now weighs, although I think we've got most of it. 616, so within the tolerances of the measuring device we've got all the flake out. I wasn't expecting this. Usually when you're using the pure flake in the alcohol, the flakes sit at the bottom with a layer of alcohol over the top and gradually it all dissolves into the alcohol, and you have to keep agitating it to avoid it all sticking to the bottom, because if it's stuck firmly to the bottom it's going to take a long time to completely dissolve. You need lots of surface area. But putting powdered shellac into alcohol, it's created a gel, which I'm assuming is going to get thinner with time. But I wasn't expecting that. I don't think this is a problem. But it's just become very thick syrup. Much thicker than you would expect. Let me get the jar. This is what we're expecting. It's really quite thin. But this is really thick. It's like honey. It really is like honey. And it's all sticking to the inside of the jar, which this doesn't. I don't think this is a problem because I'm assuming this is going to get thinner and thinner as the shellac dissolves into the alcohol. At the moment it's a gel, and in fact already it looks like it's getting thinner as I'm shaking it, and it's not sticking to the inside of the jar so much. Yeah, so I think I've just got to keep shaking. We're 5 minutes in. Actually, while I've been talking, it's already looking, oh, look at this. It's actually getting thinner as we watch. Let's prop this up. Yeah, it's becoming liquid while I'm talking. Wow, I think this is going to be usable very quickly. We're 12 minutes in, and there are still particles of shellac in the alcohol, but it's becoming a lot thinner as it dissolves. We're aiming for that, and we've got that. We're not far away. Very nearly there. There are still some particles suspended in a few air bubbles, but we're not far off. So close. $21.38, and I think we're there. I can't see any particles now, although if I shake it I'm getting the air bubble in there. But if we compare those two, they look pretty much the same. So I'm just coming up to 25 minutes, and I'm happy that that is usable. I can't see any residual grains in there. It looks exactly the same as the previous batch, of which I do not have enough. So I'm going to go and do some French polishing. Very happy that that saved me so much time. It was taking 2 hours before, and really I'd have to do it the night before, but I can get on with my French polishing now. So, result, yay!